All right, next pitcher, Adda Birnir, founder of Skillcrush.
My name is Adda Birnir, and this is my pitch. By 2020, there will be over 1.3 million open jobs in tech. Yet most of you probably don't know about them or believe that you could qualify for these high-earning and flexible jobs. At Skillcrush, our mission is simple: to provide you with the education and skills that you need in order to access these opportunities. We give women of all ages the support and tools that they need in order to break into tech or build their own digital businesses. So if you're ready to ramp up your earning, I would love for you to join us at skillcrush.com. I was doing so good before. Woohoo! Hi, hello blogger. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to be here. So I founded Skillcrush, and I was really inspired to do so based on my own personal experience. And that was that in 2009, I was out of a job. I had just gotten laid off. I was dead broke, and I really needed to do something to get out of my current situation. And so I decided to do something I hadn't tried before, which was that I learned to code. And it literally changed everything. A whole new world opened up to me. I felt like I was Alice, and I had fallen through the looking glass. I started to make a lot more money. I was able to pay off all of my credit card debt, and most importantly, I began to do projects with companies that really exceeded all of my wildest dreams. And that experience really inspired me, because what I want is I want all women to get the same types of opportunities that I was able to access once I had this new skill set. So my goal and mission at Skillcrush is to demystify this whole tech thing. I really want to tell women, women like you who are super digitally savvy, bloggers, and talk to you guys about the fact that you really can do this yourselves. You can code your own websites, you can do your own design work, you can build your own blogs from scratch, because I will show you how to do it. And it's really important that you know that you don't have to hire someone else to do this work for you. You've totally got this yourself. And what I have found, and what I have seen a lot of students find, is that learning to do it yourself is actually incredibly empowering, and more importantly, it's really financially rewarding. And with design and coding skills, there really will be no stopping you. If you want to have your own set of Kimojis, you'll be able to do that. If you want to design a website or an app, you'll know how to do that. If you want to launch the next huge social network, you will have the skills in order to do that. So at Skillcrush, we teach coding and web design. We teach you how to build your own website, how to design your own app. We teach you how to build your own blog. And I would really, in general, my goal is I would like to see more women taking advantage of all aspects of technology and really using that to push their careers forward and making a lot more money. And I would really like it if you would join me in helping women to really own technology and kick ass, one online class at a time. So please join me at skillcrush.com.
So this is a great mission that's near and dear to my heart. At GoDaddy, we have an ambition to have 50% of our engineers be women, and that's not going to happen without programs like yours. So
I support
super
that mission.
Important.
Let's make it 90%. No, I'm just kidding.
I say educating the women is half the battle. There are very few companies that are really soliciting candidates that come through these kind of training programs and not coming out of big universities. What are you doing to educate the hiring companies about hiring candidates with more diverse backgrounds?
Yeah, I mean, it's complicated. I will say that our focus, because for our audience, they're really looking for flexible and remote work. So a lot of what we do is actually give them the skills to start their own businesses and to start to work freelance. In terms of educating companies, I think, I do a lot of work on that personally. it's a much longer road. I think that what is amazing about technology and technology skills is that I think it's really important that women know that those companies aren't gatekeepers for them to make money. So it's not, I don't think that they need to wait for those companies to hire them and decide that it's worth their while, but I do think that the companies could really benefit from doing it and diversifying their workforce. So that's sort of, I would say it's not something that Skillcrush itself is focused on at this moment, but it's certainly something that I think a lot about, so.
How is your program different than the other programs out there? Obviously, it's female focused, but besides that, whether it be pricing or the length of the program, like anything around that you want to share?
It's a really big hot market. So I've been in business for 4 years, and it's been insane to see how this market has grown in that time. In terms of what we do, for us, it's so driven by our audience. And our audience is 80 to 90% women. And it's women who, many of them have families. So what we think a lot about is we're very beginner friendly. That's really important. So there's absolutely no prerequisites to do our program, which is the kind of thing that I think a lot of these other programs say that they have no prerequisites, but there's sort of a lot of things that, people don't tell you that you need to know going into these kinds of programs. So we work very hard to make sure that that dynamic doesn't play out, because I think that can be really alienating to people who are coming into tech without a lot of background in it. And then we're online. We think mentorship and support is a really important part of it. So this is not the kind of, we do a lot of video tutorials and things like that, but it's not a self-serve model. It's a model where we very much guide the process. You get an instructor. You can email back and forth with that instructor. You get mentorship, that kind of thing.
Over how long can you graduate? Or
Yeah, so our standard programs are 3 months long, and the price point's really affordable. It's $400 for that program, so.
And how many people have you trained so far in the last 4 years?
I think that it's funny, it's interesting, because I think about it so much on how many people do we have at any given time. I'm guessing that our number for total is probably around 15,000 students, but we're enrolling 500 to 600 students a month, meaning that we're serving 1,500 or so at any given time. But it's grown kind of exponentially in that time.
Have you raised money for the
So
program?
when I started the company 4 years ago, I did an incubator, and I raised $75,000. I actually paid 50 of that back because it was a convertible note, and I didn't raise money right away. So I bootstrapped the company for 3.5 years and ran on its own revenue, was profitable. And then at the end of last year, I did raise $1 million, not from an institutional venture, but from a private investor. And that was basically to grow the business. And also, you get to this funny point where you have a lot of overhead every month, but you don't have a lot of money in the bank when you've bootstrapped a company for that long, so I was looking for some more stability. But so the answer is yes, but I don't think I've sort of taken that traditional startup, raise a lot of money from venture capital route.
When you were going through that process, just because I'm sure it'd be helpful for other people, what did you find to be, one, the toughest part about the process, and two, what did you find that for the investors that you spoke to was both most exciting and probably the thing that scared them the most about the business, or they thought would be the most challenging to solve?
So my path in this regard, I think, has, again, been pretty untraditional. I did not go out and sort of do the thing where you pitch a bunch of investors. This was a relationship with one investor that I built over the last 4 years that then led to a big investment. I will tell you that when I first started the business, I did a lot more of the pitching and kind of going around. And at that time, there were so many different things that were hard for them, and I think maybe Sally has experienced this. Obviously, the focus on women was it was like eye roll. Our numbers are flipped of what you see in a normal tech education company. So normally you're having 70 to 80% male audiences. Ours is flipped. And there was no frame of reference for that. They didn't believe that that was possible. They didn't believe I could build a business that was going to be profitable and viable and scalable based on that audience. And so, I think a lot of, I sort of was like, okay, fine. I'm just gonna do it. Because at the end of the day, I think that's such an important thing for women to know about venture capital, because there's so much talk about how only 3% of money goes to women. And my biggest takeaway from my experience is that the investors don't get to decide whether or not you build your business, right? Yes, they manage their money, but you decide if you build your business. So.
Is there a community element to your model when we find that when people start off on a new path, not only is it daunting, it can be very isolating, particularly in tech. How do you address the need to convene with
Yes,
like-minded?
absolutely. It's so important. So the primary way we do it is through the platform. So we build a lot of community. I mean, one of the things that happens is that everyone starts their program at the same time in that cohort. We started on a monthly basis. So you have this built-in community of people who are kind of going through it at the same pace that you're going through it. And then we do have sort of self-organized meetups that happen, which has been really, really wonderful to see. Obviously, we're a distributed company. Our audience is distributed, but there have been little pockets, and they have done meetups and stuff like that. So that's been a wonderful part of the business.
All right, great job, Adda. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.